Hey guys, it's David here. It's currently day 34. Hopefully, you guys had an amazing day, doing better than yesterday. But that being said, today I had my first driving lesson. I had my first driving lesson. I was actually so excited for it, but at the same time, I'm so nervous, right? Because it's my first lesson. But I actually had so much joy. I had so much joy today because I actually learned so much from it. I always wanted to drive. I'm 19 years old, so I always wanted to drive a car, but I never got to it, right? So, having this lesson today, it taught me so much. I drove on the road and I had an absolute blast. For the first time when I had my hands behind the wheel, I felt like for some reason I own the world. It's like I have this freedom. I have this freedom to go anywhere I want. I, so quickly. I don't have to wait for transport. I don't have to wait. Be crowded with them on a bus or a train. It just felt amazing, guys. The feeling I just cannot explain. But I'm sure you guys experienced that feeling, driving your first car, whatever, right? But I learned so much today. Credit to the good teacher, right? But I always wanted to learn how to drive a car, right? And going back 2 years ago, this is when I had my first car, right? This is when I was 17 years old. This is when actually no, this is when I was 16 years old or 17 years old, somewhere around there. I'm not too sure, right? But somewhere around there, during high school, year 11, actual year 12, somewhere around there too, right? So my senior year, at this time, obviously, everyone got their L plates. Everyone's talking about getting a car. Everyone in school talks about their car, right? Because this is something, that is a school trend. Everyone talks about it. So obviously, I didn't want to be left behind. So I jump on that trend, right? Because at the time, I knew nothing about cars. And at this moment, till this day, I still have no idea, no knowledge about cars, right? So attack me if you want, but this is my weakness. This is many of my weakness, but it's just one of my weaknesses, right? But I know nothing about cars till this day, right? So go on TikTok, go on Car Hub, whatever, right? The TikTok car things, And I was looking at all these sick cars, sick modified cars with body kits, right? So I came across a Toyota 86, with a sick body kit, and I was like, oh, you can modify this a lot, and it just looks sick to me. It looked like a kind of, I guess, like a McLaren, but not really. But it just looked cool to me. Looked cool, at the same time, it was kind of affordable in the price range, right? So I said to myself that day, that is the car I want to do. That is the car I want to get, right? And of course, being a teenager still, people either had their car funded by their parents or they bought their car themselves, right? And the car they buy themselves, or sometimes the car they get from their parents, may not be the best. Maybe 500 bucks, 1,000, right? It's their first car. You're gonna crash it. You're gonna get a cheap car, right? But unless you're like this rich kid, right, and somebody buys you a Mercedes or BMW, for the people at my school, you know who I'm talking about, right? But if you're not that person, if you're like the normal 99% of the people in our school, or in my school, in anyone's school, you buy a shed car, you buy a shed box to start off, right? But I said to myself, I want that 86, right? So at the time, I had some money left over in my business, right? But so I went out to Facebook Marketplace and I searched on a car 86. I was like, okay, that's the car I want. All right, I got the car and it came to me. Right? I got the car and it came to me and I was like, okay, shit, it's here, it's mine now. It looks amazing. Now I want to drive it. Right, being again manual again because I chose a manual car because everyone loved manual. Everyone wanted to talk about manual because you can do drifts, you can do all this burnout crap on it. So I was like, okay, let me get a manual car so I can, this is my so I'm the guy now at school to be, be flexing, be attracting clout, right? Again, it was an immature decision, I know. But when you're young and dumb, so you do stupid things, right? My dad told me to get an automatic. Should have listened to him, but I went for the manual either way. But that's not the point. The point is, I never really got to learn how to drive the car. My dad tried to teach me, but obviously not being a professional, he did teach me well. I did manage to drive the car on road and etc. I did stall a lot of times, but nonetheless, I didn't have more than 2 hours of time behind the wheel, guys. I didn't have that time behind the wheel because first of all, I got arrested, and second of all, either I was on so much drugs I didn't have time to drive the car. Right, so Fast forward then 1 year, obviously I got arrested, blah blah blah, raided, right? And then I got my car inbounded, and then boom, it's gone. It's gone forever, right? But the point is, guys, I never actually got to learn how to drive a car. I actually never, really enjoyed the car I bought. So I guess fast forward 2 years now, having that opportunity to drive the car and really drive it on road, the feeling is amazing, guys. Because I always wanted to do it. And either way, guys, no matter when in life, driving a car is a fundamental skill you need to learn, anyways, right? So today, this experience just really clicked with me, and I really enjoyed it. But that being said, today being a Wednesday, I had my parole officer to me. I had my piss test, etc. So I guess I have been kind of busy, moving from point A to point B to point C. All the transport time, etc. Took me a lot of time to come back home. Right? But that being said, I still have plenty of time to do my work. I still have plenty of time to do my outreach, but I didn't. Right? And I could put the blame onto, okay, I'm at my parole officer's office, or I'm doing a piss test, or I'm on public transport and I can't work, etc. Those are all excuses that I could use. Or I could say, okay, because today I was supposed to have a demo call and they didn't show. Or yesterday I had 3 calls but they didn't show too. I could use them as excuses, right? But at the end of the day, guys, I am the one to blame for my lack of action or inaction, right? And today I had inaction. I had lack of action. I went into complacency mode. I decided to take the day off like normally because it's a Wednesday. And on a Wednesday, I just can't be asked doing anything because I had half of my day cut up by, moving from point A to point B to point C, right? But it's just, I guess, this mindset I got to get myself out of it, because it's really it's digging me out my grave, guys. It's digging my grave because I had the opportunity and I had the resources to pursue my goals, right? But I decided to hold back. I decided to sit on the fence because I mentally prepared today to just kind of relax because, look, David, you only have so much on your plate. So why don't you just, come back home and just chill out? That's the mindset I have planned for me every Wednesday. And that's not good, guys. It's not good because I could be doing a lot of work prior to making this YouTube video, but I didn't. So that's something I got to get myself snapped out of, because it's definitely gonna, take away a whole day to really, progress in my journey, right? But all that set aside, I am fortunate for the failures I've been getting. For the past few weeks, I am kind of taking my failures very personally. But I forgot one thing, and that's so important, is that success cannot happen unless you have many, many, many failures, right? So, for this past few weeks, I have forgot that a failure is basically a sign telling you that you are on the right track to success, right? Because if you're not getting any failure, then there's something wrong, right? There's something wrong, either you're hella lucky, but luck doesn't breed long-term successful people, right? Only failure breeds successful and competent people, right? So I gotta take this failure as a blessing in disguise, and I gotta really value the failures and actually, treat the failure as it is, a lesson that you learn to improve next time, right? A lesson you learn to be better next time, right? But then again, the most important rule for me, and I guess for anybody, is do not give up. Do not give up and keep on pushing. No matter how bad you feel about not wanting to work, even if you don't work today, I want you to work tomorrow. Even if you don't work in 2 days, I want you to work in the third day. With that end goal in mind, you want to just get better every day, and I know in this journey of delayed gratification, we might not get rewarded tomorrow or in a few months or even a year. So I guess the question you got to ask yourself is really, how can I create a reward that will be fulfilling to my needs, but at the same time not contradicting my purpose or my identity? I guess that's a question I have to ask myself and answer. And that's a question you have to answer yourself too, right? Because if you read Atomic Habits by James Clear, you will know that a habit only repeats itself if there's a reward at the end, right? The reward is what finishes the habit feedback loop, right? I think, anyways, right? But without having a reward, a habit will not reperform, or a habit will not repeat itself, right? And the reward could be anything, guys. The reward might just be you knowing that you're becoming better. The reward might just be you knowing that this is what I got to do. And the reward is just maybe getting the work done. It could be as simple as that. But guys, if doing the work alone and working for what you believe in isn't a reward in your sense, is still at times discouraging you. And I'm not saying even after you have a reward, you might still become discouraged, but having a reward in place will make sure for majority of people that it'll be worth repeating, right? Because we do things for what reason? For the reward, guys, right? We watch TV to get entertained. Otherwise, we won't watch TV. We eat food because we're hungry and we want to eat delicious food. That's the reward, right? We play video games for fucking dopamine release, whatever, right? We smoke crack, whatever, right? For dopamine releases to feel good. We do things for a reason. So if your reason cannot be just to become successful, even though that should be your main reason to do the work, to ride this journey of delayed gratification, then maybe you got to really reevaluate if doing this is really what your goals are, if this is what your purpose is. But just at times, if it's not enough to really keep you moving forward, if it's not enough to keep the ball rolling, then create a reward that'll fulfill or fill the lack of need that needs to be fulfilled. All right, so this is where self-reflecting comes in. This is where you got to actually think to yourself, okay, what do I need in life that I am not getting from doing my work currently that is not being fulfilled? Try and fill those gaps, whatever it may be, emotional need, financial needs, whatever, health needs, whatever need it could be, right? Find out the need and find that reward that will fulfill the need while not compromising or contradicting your purpose and identity, right? So if you're trying to get away from distractions, guys, don't do work and decide to watch a movie afterwards as a reward, right? It doesn't really make sense, right? Or, for example, if you want to lose weight, you don't want to work out and go buy Macca's, right? So come around the reward and find a solution. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But if you spend enough time, guys, it's going to happen, right? So a quick tip, get a book out, write the question on the top. What can I reward myself after I do my work? Or what can I reward yourself by staying in tune with your identity? And on the bottom, I want you to list 20 ideas. Just write 20 ideas. Think really hard about these ideas. Spend half an hour, spend an hour. Think of these ideas. Write 20 down. After you do that, pick one idea and stick with it. Pick one idea and actually use that idea. Implement that idea and make that idea into the reward that you'll reward yourself for the next 30 days and see how you go. If you get tired, if it's not working, then go back to the drawing board and plan another reward. Or maybe after you do that, that need is fulfilled and you go back and fulfill another need. But until you actually become successful, until the work you start doing actually begins to pay off, then there might be a reward you have to currently substitute for. And this is where it's so important to self-reflect. So do this today, because I'm going to do this after this video, right? Do this, get a book out, 20 dot points of what you want to reward yourself after doing work. Do that today, guys, and I can promise you, you'll come up with at least one idea, one reward that you can implement at the end of the day today. But that being said, today, this is my Wednesday. I had a wonderful day, and hopefully you guys did. But that being said, at the end of the day, I want you guys to learn something. But if not, that's totally fine, because I got something for you guys tomorrow. That being said, bless you all. Bye-bye.